Okay, we're ready.
You ready? Okay. All right. Now, I'm looking about the table and I noticed the presence of a quorum, so I'd like to call the meeting to order. And with that, I'd ask the Reverend Jonas if he would do the invocation for us.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, Lord, in Jesus' name, once again this day, we thank you, God, for your safekeeping in the day, for everybody that's been out and traveling, Lord, and in this mess, Lord, again, thank you. And Lord, we do ask you, God, to be with us and help us in this meeting tonight, Lord, and take care of the business of the town in a way, God, that is good for all of the town, Lord, not just a few, but God for all, and again, that, Lord, that we will do whatever needs to be done, that'll be approved by you as well, God. Help us, Lord, to do it right. And God will not fail to give you the praise, the honor, and the glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Let's all stand for the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. That's it. At this time, we'd like to entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented or to make any changes of anything.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of accepting the minutes as presented, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, for the record, the minutes are approved. Next item on the list, citizens time. Have we got two citizens? We got Larry, got something you want to say to us, huh? That you can repeat? There's Mike's, all he likes to come and sit. Okay, that's it, we'll move on to correspondence. We have correspondence from the town office.
We do. For the Town of Royal Treat employees and council members, thank you so much for the retirement party, especially the baseball theme was a super touch. Thank you also for the gift cards and well wishes. For more reasons than words can express, Mike Whalen. And I will point out, Mike signed it. I guarantee you he didn't write that. That's not his handwriting.
You know that one was a school teacher, so you.
Yeah, but we're gonna miss that fella.
Yeah.
Ryan said they were in Cracker Barrel, I believe it was yesterday, using it for one of those gift cards.
Oh, really?
Great. That's good. All right, any other correspondence from the town office? Okay, we have correspondence from council. Not sure nobody gets left out. That takes us to the police report.
I just have one thing, went to court with property on Elm Avenue. We had a substitute judge, which I was glad to see, but he was pretty rough on her and he gave her another month to get it cleaned up. But, and one of the conditions is if it's not satisfactory, he wants to see her, not the regular judge, the substitute judge is going to hear it.
He said he would make a special appointment to drive up here, actually. What he said.
The wonderful thing about that judge, we couldn't have done it better because he made a rule. He made the other one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Sets it
know.
off to the side.
I mean, he gave her 30 days.
Well,
He didn't make a ruling, but
Well, but he did something.
yeah.
And so that time is nearly up, isn't it?
Do you have to go back and report to the judge?
I'm going to, yeah.
Yeah.
It was February 4th.
That's when the
March
hearing
4th, the next one.
Yeah, March 4th.
March 4th.
And February 4th was the last one.
I don't think I'd ever been in front of this judge, but of course, it was pretty firework.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that's what they're paid to do, to make decisions. Okay? While we have a moment of silence. Sir, you all have any questions for the chief? Please, don't miss a chance.
I have something, Mr. Mayor. I have two citizens complain about this portable sign right over here. When you come out of the post office on this street, that it blocks the view to the right.
I don't know which line you're talking.
You know the one that below the big
The
sign?
one you put like the.
Yeah, the letters.
Plastic letters on.
Yeah, it was between the two posts of the other sign, and it's been moved. And
Closer to the street?
yes, yeah,
What they put, is that for an auction?
it's the auction, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
He won't take anything but a second today, definitely.
That auction company's not gonna be there much longer anyway.
No,
Is he gonna have to move, or is he quitting?
Lost his lease.
I sold it.
There's gonna be another,
Child care center,
child care center.
daycare.
And they're gonna use
And they're
both
gonna,
buildings?
and the laundromat too.
Well, they bought it all, I guess they figured that. Well, I'm glad to see, I don't want to see David gone, I don't know where he's gonna go, because a lot of people enjoy that.
There's usually quite a crowd there.
Where to go? Oh, yeah. I'm glad to see the daycare coming as well, so I guess mixed feelings about it, and not mixed, really, it's good. If you see David, Derek, you won't have a good trouble.
And I don't know if you've noticed, but
I had that problem when I was pulling out the other day and I noticed it.
Well, that's all right,
Yeah.
we'll work on that.
he's really cleaned that property up too.
Yeah,
It looks good.
Hey, David's been made a pretty good show up there, he really has.
But the new property owner's taking out all those trees up there and
He put in all new lights, and it's lit up at night up there now.
he's,
But he's not gonna open the laundromat, it's been leased, right?
leased to two brothers, yes.
Well, things are there are changing. Okay, any other questions for the chief? Okay, that takes us to unfinished business. And the downtown's always the first thing on there. What do you
Okay,
think?
I'll go ahead and talk about what's on my report. Treasurer Patton, Mike Jones, and myself, we met with Dennis Amos of Hurt and Profit about building restrooms on the Heritage Park property. The engineer explained that getting the site plan and architectural drawings for the standalone bathrooms would be pretty costly to the town, just because you'd have to get an architect involved and all that stuff. He threw out the possibility, and I think it's been mentioned here in council before, that it would be a lot less costly to incorporate the bathrooms in the building that's already on site, instead of building two sets of bathrooms.
Hadn't we agreed that we're gonna keep that building then?
Well, that was
Yeah,
That was
I'll get those minutes for you.
what the minutes said, but we had also talked about doing an outside bathroom
In addition,
in addition. So, my question is do we want to spend the extra money to build a standalone bathroom, 100 yards from the farmer's market?
People down there using it at any other time other than,
There would be a door from the inside going to the bathrooms, kind of like the community center. You'd have a door coming in, but you'd also have a door on the side that you can go in at any time with a hallway
Get it from outside.
from outside. But it would be used by the indoor and outdoor, anybody on the property.
I would think we ought to utilize what we've got instead of building new. Maybe later on, put on.
That's considerable distance though,
that's mine.
from over at the farmer's market
From
to
the
that
building,
building.
yeah.
I think it's too far.
Well, am I right in saying we still haven't really finalized, we've got what we call the blank canvas. We haven't finalized exactly what we're gonna do at that site yet.
We haven't, but this is, my concern is there's gonna have to be bathrooms on the site. We know that much. And we've got the town's farmer's market starting in June. I would they're used to having the depot there, you know, for bathrooms. I just don't, I'd rather not start out our farmer's market using porta-johns. I'd like for there to be a bathroom on site, because and I didn't put this in my report, but we've met with Ms. Vanover a couple more times since our last council meeting. And she's getting some things in order as far as vendors, as far as, there's a program called SNAP. It's kind of like, what is the
Food
card
stand-
called?
it's food stamps.
Food stamps. What is the cards called?
EBT.
EBT cards, where you can come and get stuff from the farmer's market, which would bring more people in. But anyway, I just would not like, it wouldn't be good, I don't think, to start. I'd like to get started on the bathrooms and know what you guys want me to do, whether it's gonna be incorporated inside what we've already got or build a standalone. But it is gonna take a little time and money to get the drawings for the building inspector to approve.
You've got a good point, Bob, because we've got a lot of elderly people that
You
attend to
do.
that.
And you've got wheelchairs.
Right.
You've got grass. You're gonna have moisture in mud out there. People not gonna be able to get to it.
We would have to have a sidewalk. There would have to, get ADA compliance, you have to have those things.
We have to have a motion second, correct?
Well, you know what your motion gonna be, okay? I'm gonna, we go ahead and build one next to the farmer's market.
Second.
Second.
Now we talk about it.
Okay. Standalone. So it'd be by itself. We talked about a men's and a women's, obviously. 2 stall, 2 sink, urinal, stall, sink. Small storage area. Put your, what do you call that water heater you was talking about?
Demand.
On-demand water
Yeah,
heater.
yeah.
Put your electric box, things like that, in a small 3-foot storage facility. We talked about concrete floors with a drain, some kind of heating in the ceiling so that nobody could get to it to damage it. Metal ceiling. Am I leaving anything out, Mike?
Mike, will you talk a little bit about what we talked about, the cost? Just how much,
Probably going to be $50,000 difference between building them in the building that you got now and standalone restrooms.
Difference.
I think that's well worth the money.
Difference.
There's a, what do you think, don't, never be held to it, but how much money? 100?
I don't have a clue. I do know that the architectural block, to give it a little appeal to it, is running somewhere around $9 per block layer.
Well, do we need the appeal?
I think it makes them look decent.
Yeah, but don't regular cinder block look just as good?
No,
No?
they will not look as good.
Y'all trying to make decisions
What is
without
it?
enough information. We need to get
So, I
information.
mean,
Yeah.
I would say this, let me throw that out there, because you don't want information. Let's go ahead and see what they can come up with as far as a good plan.
Well, let's
not gonna worry about what kind of block is in it or whatever.
amend
You guys kinda-
let's amend our motion and say, let's see some costs.
You're probably going to have $20,000 in what was he?
Yeah, it's gonna cost them that much for the
Site-
dang
Site plan.
Site plans.
Architecture.
$20,000 just in the site plans, that's nothing to
counting
do with the building,
architecture.
that's just the site plan.
Well, I really think we're gonna keep that building, we need to utilize what we got, but Bob does have a point. And if you build a sidewalk down there, it's gonna be a heck of a long sidewalk too.
Yeah.
So that's gonna cost a lot of money.
What is the, I know we talked about doing a site plan anyway for the whole thing. How much would that cost us? Does anybody know that?
Oh, that's another year away, is the problem.
Well, I mean, we had a preliminary site plan there, but I mean, it wasn't anything that
I
had,
know, it wasn't nuts and bolts, I understand that.
How do we amend Jim's?
Well, I said, let's see some costs. And then we'll go from there.
Did we lose Monica? She's awful low in the chair.
Um,
Did she fall out?
can I say something?
Sure.
So you're gonna have to, if you do use that brick building, you're gonna have to have public bathrooms in it anyway. So giving yourself some time and not rushing into building this bathroom building, could you go ahead and put the bathrooms in that building, which you're gonna have to have anyway, and use them when this farmer's market starts up to see how that works? It may be fine, once you build the sidewalk over there to it. It's really not as far away as you think it is.
How much is a sidewalk gonna cost, though? I think that's, you know.
Well, Dennis made the comment that with what you're gonna save in paying them for the site plan and paying the architect to do the drawing and everything you're gonna have to do, he said you could probably put the he said you'll be able to put the sidewalk across there, which you're gonna have to do anyway. That's just a thought.
Does it have to be concrete? Could you just asphalt a walk over there?
Well, that's a good point, too. Boy, you're full of tonight, Bob.
Well, and that's honestly, and I know we're trying to get everything done before the farmer's market opens. But that's why I think it's of utmost importance to figure out a site plan for this thing. Because I don't want to make a decision tonight and then go back 3 months later, that's the whole idea about the site plan, and go, you know what? We totally should have done that, guys. That was stupid.
Or have to take it up or take it out to do what you really want to
Right.
do.
But if you're gonna, if you do what Bob's talking about, and we say, we're gonna utilize the building, which we're gonna utilize anyway, like Monica said, if we go ahead and do that and build the asphalt in there now, we can get site plan later, that asphalt will pull right up.
Yeah.
So I think that's.
Okay, Monica, the motion is to have money, have a,
Hold on.
somebody help me.
What I've got is, hang on, I gotta find it. A motion was made by,
Jim Moore.
I've typed too much since all right. Was made by Councilmember Lloyd and seconded by Councilmember Lewis to build a standalone building for bathrooms. But then you wanted to amend it to say,
Let's, well.
Withdraw your motion.
Okay, I withdraw my motion.
okay,
Now, we'll.
Now,
Make a new
somebody
one.
help for me. Bob, help us for me.
Let's get a cost estimate on doing 2 bathrooms in the existing structure.
And the.
Joining the building with the farmer's market site with an asphalt walkway.
Second.
okay, give me a second. Cost estimate to,
Do you want to specify, I'm not nickel and diming your call, but do you want to specify asphalt or just say walkway?
Walkway. Let's
Because,
say
I
walkway.
mean,
We
that,
might get an-
keep it general.
Yeah, we might get an estimate of concrete that
Right.
is reasonable.
You can probably put a concrete sidewalk in as cheap as you can.
The asphalt, but there's worlds of places have cinder paths, they call them.
But the sidewalk's gonna have to be ADA compliant.
Yes,
It's gonna
That
have
has
to
to
be.
be 5 feet wide.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's when you're doing that, that's what, one might be, I don't know whether the cinder path's still.
And both restrooms are gonna have to be ADA.
We already talked about that.
If you, is the concrete sidewalk, is each tear up as asphalt? Okay.
Really shoot, tear it up.
Tear anything, that's right.
Really,
Okay, we have a motion to second there, is everybody, it's sort of convoluted. How's it worded, Monica?
okay, so who seconded it?
Hadn't been seconded.
Jim?
No, he made the motion.
No.
No.
No, Bob
He made
did.
the first one, Bob made this one.
Okay. that's
Okay,
fine.
so I've
You
got
did second,
the
not
motion-
you.
The motion was by Lewis, seconded by Councilmember Lloyd, to obtain a cost estimate to build bathrooms in the existing brick building and an estimate to build a standalone bathroom with a sidewalk, standalone bathroom and a sidewalk from the farmer's market to the existing brick building.
Do we need an estimate on the outside building right now? I think y'all wait.
Or you just want
Yeah.
was the motion just, so you didn't, okay,
Yeah, the
sorry.
motion's just for the existing structure.
Wait till you get a site plan, then get your estimate.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just for the bathrooms in the existing
In the
building
existing
with a
building.
walkway from the farmer's market to the
Yeah,
building. Gotcha,
yes.
sorry.
It's all right. It's why.
We wouldn't be confusing to listen to at all, would we?
No, it's when you get people shooting at you from all around, you don't always want to cover, okay? Now, everybody understand the motion? Any questions now? Okay. All those in favor of the motion as not amended, our motion, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, that motion carries. That means we've done business. Haven't spent any money yet, much. Okay? You done with that, Grayson?
Yes, sir.
All right, Dale, you want to report on the Heritage Day?
Everything is lined up for Heritage Day, except we haven't signed the contract on the headliner, but we do have the offer out. I'm waiting on that to get back, and then we'll be able to start announcing who's coming and what we're doing. So everything else is lined up and ready to go.
We don't always tell what we know. It's sort of, we used to get in trouble with some of the council members that we were hiding it. We're not. It's not made public until later.
Their contract
Those are
says we can't say anything about them until they have signed the contract.
So
And then there's so many days before, and it's a whole big thing.
How'd you get Mickey Mouse out of retirement?
Real careful.
A lot of cheese.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Dale about that? Okay. The upgrades to the water plant.
I will say, the last couple of weeks, this has been the bulk of my time. We have been exploring some options about the development of Staley Spring and upgrades for the Philippi water plant as well. I will be presenting to council with more details in the near future. The town is also going to meet with the Lane Group on Thursday to go over some of our options to make the best suggestions for council going forward. Particularly in the development of Staley Spring. There was a PER done, which, just so everybody knows, that's preliminary engineering report, that was done in 2009 on the water down there at Staley Spring. And I've been reviewing it. Basically, Staley Spring has an estimated capacity of 432,000 gallons per day that's not being used. So that would be a maximum of a 500,000 gallon plant down at the site at Staley Spring. And, you know, for the newer members, if you don't know where Staley Spring is, it's right there behind the Dutch Pantry.
See the tank? You can see.
We have been in discussion and did meet with some people about possibly doing a water plant down there. But I really don't have the specifics that are set in stone to report to council. I just wanted to let you guys know that there will be things coming in the very near future for you guys to act on as far as what we're going to do water-wise in the town. We've got one plant that is getting older. We've got lines obviously that are getting older, and then we have the option to tap onto a resource down here that, you know, in my opinion, is going to have to be done sooner rather than later, because at some point we're going to have to update and upgrade what we've got to handle our water demand. So, like I said, I will have more information, meeting with some engineers and things like that to see what we need to do and get a cost estimate for how much it would cost to possibly revamp. We'll build a new plant at Staley and revamp Philippi to get it back to a little more efficient working type plant. So, like I said, I don't have any specifics that I can report, but I will have some in the near future that's going to be some things that we'll have to make decisions on. Anybody got any questions about that? I mean, I hate to be vague, but I really don't have anything concrete that I can actually give you a number on yet, but I will.
Got to have information to make decisions. Okay, anybody got any questions? Okay, the upgrades to the sewer plant, next item on that list.
No, not really. Kind of getting frustrated. The weather's been part of the frustration. We're still trying to get that one thing fixed on the clarifier. But in order to do that, the water table's got to be low. And I'm not making excuses, but this should have been done before now. Mr. Vault's equipment and stuff's been down there for quite a while, and it hadn't been completed, so that's something I'm gonna have to get on. But the well is working fine down there. But we're still only using one clarifier right now.
Yeah, one of these days, you're gonna need that part of your tour. It's a really nice facility. It's just got one place and it's small. It's really not it's a big deal. It's not gonna be a tremendous, it's hard to work in a hole in the ground, 30 feet deep, whatever. We have lots of constraints that the work the OSHA puts on us. Well, anyway, that's one reason why we're using an outside contractor. Okay, does anybody have any questions that we can answer in the sewer plant? Okay, what about the concrete work on the Main Street sidewalk?
Spoke to Miles Concrete today. He's been in Troutdale for the last 2 weeks trying to finish up a project. He would like to try to do it the first week of March, tentatively with the weather. But
We're gonna have a hole there for crypt for me eventually, right?
it may be a lot quicker as a bunch of It might be as construction takes place.
Does he have to be dead to put it?
Easy now.
Not necessarily.
If you got enough stuff, it will fight back.
Mike, are we gonna have to tear the sidewalk up for that one leak that we found across from Harpo's, you think?
There's not a leak there.
I thought we said.
Groundwater.
Was it? And if anybody asks, I know I had a couple of council members reach out, I didn't put this on here, but Sherwood Avenue is crumbling up. The reason why is there is a wet weather spring, believe it or not, on top of that hill. And you can see it, you can even see it in the summertime. But it's gotten under there and it's frozen, it's causing that to come up. And this salt and everything's not doing any,
Is that what's causing it to just happen all of a sudden?
yes. I've been watching it for 2 years.
Yeah.
And I mean, and gradually, but I mean, it, all of a sudden, it just went. So W&L actually paved that. That is the town-owned part of that street. W&L paved that when they paved Sherwood. Was it only been 4 or 5 years ago, hadn't it?
Okay.
But we're gonna really have to dig and put some base in there and redo the whole middle of that road. But if anybody asks, that's why. I mean, it's not something that we can help, but it will have to be replaced, obviously.
Is this Main Street repair, have you still got the Church Street on there?
Yes. And the section across from Harpo's that we've already tore up, that's coned off. He when he comes to town, he's doing all 3 of those projects.
Okay, anybody have any further questions? Good question, Mark. Okay, and property clutter, I think that Derek's already reported. Once he went to sleep.
Let me ask you a question about that. Is she blocking off the old driveway to the?
She told me she had permission.
She has permission to do
Them
that?
people don't live by her,
Yeah, they're here temporarily sometimes.
Yeah, I asked her that, and she said they told her she could do that.
I mean, she told me that too. I mean, it hadn't been verified, but that's what we were told.
Okay? Anybody else have any questions about that? Okay, is it any other unfinished business? And we'll bring forward. Okay, under new business, do we have anything?
Yeah, and I should have put this on the agenda, and I apologize that I didn't. Monica asked, and I failed to do this, but it just goes back to our remote participation policy. I don't know if you guys had a chance to look through it. I can read it verbatim if you want me to, but I'd rather not. I can just hit on some high notes. This is in accordance with 2.2-3708.3 of the Virginia Code that talks about a council member's remote participation in town meetings. Just to hit some of the high stuff, there's only 4 permissible reasons why a council member can use remote participation. That's disability or a medical condition of the council member, medical condition of a family member. This one has been uniform in all of them I've looked at, and I'm not sure why, because I don't see how this would ever take effect unless you were like a delegate or something like that. But residents more than 60 miles away, I just put that in there just in case for some reason something odd were to happen. And then the 4th is a personal matter. And I will read this one because I just want you guys to understand this one. If the council member is unable to attend a meeting due to a personal matter and identifies with specificity the nature of the personal matter, limitation, the council member may not use remote participation due to personal matters more than 2 meetings per calendar year or 25% of the meetings held per calendar year, whichever is rounded up to the next whole number. So whichever is greater. So basically, for personal reasons, based on this policy that the code sets forth, basically you can't miss and come in remotely for 2 meetings, more than 2 meetings a year. Really, with COVID over with, unless there's something that happens, I don't really see a need to get on remotely much anymore. Another thing that is important is, even though you're joining remotely, there still has to be a physical quorum at the meeting. And they do have to okay you coming in remotely for the meeting. Does anybody have any other questions?
Now, does it require us to
I would.
have an ordinance?
No,
or
this is a
that
policy.
State law?
This is our remote participation policy based on state law. So we didn't have to advertise this. This is just a policy by the town council. But it does need to have a motion and a second to approve this policy for our,
I make a motion to approve the policy.
I said,
You got 2 seconds over here.
Gotcha.
I just have one question, real quick. That, number 3, since that's residents of 60 miles, should we change it? Because I know Jim's a lot of time further than 60 miles away and could remote in if he needed to. Should it be more than 60 miles away?
if we want to, we can just take that out. Because, I mean.
There is time, and usually it's like 500 miles, which
Right,
is right.
right, and I mean, that's just.
But I don't know if that's a,
But my thing,
It says
but my
residence,
thing
that
is
doesn't make
your
sense.
it says your principal residence is more than 60 miles.
It would have to be
So-
a delegate. I mean, if you're in Northern
Doesn't apply.
Virginia, you could live more than 60 miles from the town hall.
I mean, I'll gladly take that out. That's not an
I think it
issue.
should be taken out because it doesn't apply. You have to be a town resident to be a member of town council.
Exactly right.
So-
where it says principal residence, I don't think that will work for me.
No.
So with, the motion is to amend part 3,
Remove it.
remove part 3 from the policy? Okay.
Okay, is any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the motion as Red, Monica, to suit you.
I got it.
All right, all those in favor, please signify by stating aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That's how we do business. Excellent.
Bob remembers when I first got on council, it was $25 a meeting, and you didn't get paid if you didn't come to a meeting. You remember that?
Yeah. That,
And he used to deliver the minutes.
yeah, sure did. That reminds me of something that I found this past week. I was going through some of my mother-in-law stuff. I found a water bill from January of 1981.
Wow.
Her sewer bill was $6, her water bill was $5, for a total of $11. And I looked at mine and I said, times are a changing.
They are indeed.
And Bill Spraker would still complain.
You bet. Bill Parker would still whine. And you know, Bob, we've taken pretty good hits recently because we don't charge enough.
I know. Yeah.
It's typical government doings that you are penalized.
Requiring you to have certain amount of money on your water bill to be eligible for a grant. It's not right.
I've had people tell me I'm lying when I tell them that.
Yeah, they think you made that up.
Yeah.
You don't.
When I was knocking on doors, that was the main subject that came up, water bills. And try to explain to them that the federal government says you gotta charge a certain amount to be able
We
to.
still aren't really in compliance exactly with, well, as far as getting grants, we're all right.
Another thing they should look at is what the surrounding areas are charging.
Yeah.
We're still less than Chilhowie's rates. I just looked them up the other day.
Okay. Is there any more new business? Okay, go to the committee reports. Mom, you have anything to?
I do. So we can only allow 5 years of personal property taxes on our books in delinquent tax accounts. So I've got, you have to write off balances that are older than 5 years old at the end of the year. So in December 31st, you go back and anything 5 years and forward you can keep on your books. But I have got 17, 18, and 19 that we need to write off. We didn't write any off last year. I was going to try to collect on some of those, but the code section says you can't do that. So, and also in the tax system that we're getting ready to send these delinquent accounts to, they won't even take the 2019s because they can't collect them. So we need to write off 17, 18, and 19. And the amounts are, for 17 is $2,998.44. 18 is $2,333.72. And the amount for 19 is $3,105.79. That's a total of $8,437 and some change. I just need I need a motion and a second to write those off.
Make a motion to write those off.
I'll second it.
It's one of those things you don't have any choice, you're gonna have to do it anyway.
So,
Okay, is any discussion?
so how do you know, these taxes that hasn't been paid, is there not any way that,
Not now. So that's part of what her.
It's a
report is.
statute of limitations. You can only leave 5 years on the books.
5 years as far
So
as
that's-
you can go.
That's why this tax that we're getting ready to implement is gonna be golden, because they're a collection agency that's gonna start collecting these, so you don't have to write them off.
okay.
So
Yeah.
hopefully we'll not be writing as much off.
And Monica can talk about this better than I can, and Brenda puts people through set-off debt. What that means is if we say that you owe these taxes in set-off debt, if you file your taxes and you get a return, they look and they see, well, before you get your return, we're paying the town of Rural Retreat. And it's prioritized, and what are we, like 4th or 5th? Anyway, it's prioritized by, if you owe the federal government, if you owe the state of Virginia, they're gonna get their money before Rural Retreat does. Well, a lot of times these people owe so many people money that by the time they take their whole tax return, we're next on the priority list and we don't get anything. So, is that?
Yeah, but we
basically in a
also
nutshell?
get, who seconded that motion?
Should.
Should. So we also get money, throughout the year if people win the lottery, we'll get a hit every now and then. And if they've won a sizable amount in the lottery, we'll get some of their money back. And we turn in utility billing and real estate and, personal property taxes to set off debt. So, but there are people that are above us in that chain. I'm sure the county trumps the locale, the towns or whatever, but, there's other ways, other people are trying to get that set off too, but we collect quite a bit of money on set off debt. I can report on that. I'll write myself a note to tell you all how much we got last year. It's quite a bit.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, everybody understand the motion, what we're doing? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by stating aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay.
Thank you.
Now, on the personnel ordinances and legal matters.
I'll just report, Monica Logier and myself interviewed 4 potential candidates for the water wastewater position that the town currently has a vacancy for. Some of the candidates are up for consideration, but we would like to interview a couple more that we did not interview in the preliminary process, just to see, give us more options as to what we are going to go with. There were a couple that stood out that I think would be good employees. The licensing and testing is the big issue when it comes to these operators. DPOR in the state of Virginia has not made it easy to get licensed. That's a battle for another day, but it's not easy to get these licenses. So we're going to bring in a couple more just to give ourselves some more options and see how they stack up to what we interviewed this past time, and then choose somebody from that pool. Just so you guys know, we had to advertise this in the Enterprise, and as we all know, the Enterprise circulation's kind of dying of newspapers. So a guy actually went to, did he go to Virginia Supreme Court?
Mm-hmm.
He went to the Virginia Supreme Court, and you can explain it better than I'm on.
So it's the Southwest Virginia, I can't remember, is it Southwest Virginia News, I think is what, or Today, yeah, Southwest Virginia Today, and it's an online publication. So he went to the court to get it passed so that we can utilize that for public notices instead of having to go into a written paper, which I feel like, well, it's obvious that this reaches out to more people because he reports to us how many people clicks on it, how many people sees it, and it was 8,000 clicks. 8,000 people clicked on this ad for this wastewater water operator. 8,000 people. And then 300 took the link to our, was it 300? I've got all that down. 300 or 400 people clicked on the link that took them to the website that showed our ad and everything. So that's a lot. I dare say that's a lot more than got the Enterprise and read the ad in the paper and looked at it.
Well, I'm sure.
We reached a lot more people. We had 11 applicants, which shocked me.
Yeah. And also, it's a whole lot cheaper. I mean, it's gonna save us, and the county's using it for all their public notices. All the surrounding towns are using it. Smith County's using it, Grayson County, I think. But it costs hundreds and even thousands of dollars to run a public notice in the paper, and his is a flat rate.
Like $180.
It's like $180, $195 flat rate.
For one notice?
Yeah, it's so much cheaper. So, yeah.
I just thought that was
8,000
pretty cool.
inquiries is huge.
8,000 clicks.
Yeah, but 11,
Yeah, applicants.
applicants, that's the word I was thinking.
And that's 8,000 clicked on it, but a lot more saw it.
Yeah.
Didn't click on it. So
Right.
we got a lot of
You get 11 applicants for anything for the town of Retreat, is, I'm sorry, but
It's true.
it's the truth, if the truth hurts, so be it, but anyways, what it is.
So what's the qualifications? that they've got to have?
They've got to have GED equivalent, obviously. On the job posting, it said, it would be nice to have 2 years of a degree in science, which you don't find that very often.
Have to be
And then
licensed.
it's basically after that, it's whoever, if they come in licensed, that's great. I mean, that is a big plus.
Puts you to the top of the list.
That's the top of the list. If you come in licensed, we actually had an applicant with a class 1 water and class 1 wastewater. Which class 1 is the top that you can get. A little bit expensive. This person wanted some money. It's basically whoever we think can do the job, but also pass the test, because you get very few that are licensed, very few. One of the individuals did have wastewater experience, but he's not licensed at this time. He's tried for the license and did not pass the test, which that's not saying anything against him, because it is quite a hard test. They took the book away about 15 years ago. It used to be an open book test, and now it's not. And quite honestly, from talking to people who've taken it, you can do one math problem on the front and back of this sheet right here. One math problem. It's very hard to pass. And the system they can take 10 questions out if they want to. So that I think they kind of play the system a little bit. I'm being redundant to some of them, but 10 years ago, 15 years ago, the pass rate for a class 3 was 94%. Last year it was 4% pass rate. So,
If you want to summarize why that is, because of the testing company,
yes.
the whole testing has changed.
So, just a couple points. There's 3 questions on the test, and they couldn't remember the third one. But there's 2 questions at the end of the test that I don't understand why are on there. Number 1, it asks if you're paying for the test yourself, or if a municipality's paying for it. Why they ask that question, I don't know why. Well, I do know why. Because if you're paying for it yourself, they know that you might not pay for it again. If your municipality's paying for it, then they know that they're going to pay. Okay, you see where I'm going with that. Number 2, they say if you fail this test, are you going to take it again? Why would they ask that question? Because they want to know if you're going to come back at $200 a pop. Then they can take 10 questions, whichever questions they want, and pull them out or put them in, however they want to do it. You can't see what you've missed. They won't show you what you've missed.
Right.
There was an individual with rural water that basically went to prisons and people who had minor drug offenses and things like that. He would go into these facilities and he would teach them water and wastewater, so when they got out, they could try to get their license. Well, he had two guys that he had worked with extensively, and you start out, you fail with a 68, you got to get a 70, and then it kind of teeters in. Well, he knew that these guys had to pass from the knowledge that they had. So he actually went to DPOR, which is over this testing, and said, I want to see their test scores. I'm auditing you, basically. I want to see what their test, what they answered on the test and what they failed. Before he knew it, in the mail, they sent them to their registrations for their license. They had passed the test, and they went through and manipulated it to where they did not pass the test. So.
I have a question, a note that's off this. But since we're hiring a new employee, why does the town no longer require a new employee to take a physical before they're hired?
That's a good question. I don't know if it's legal, number one.
It's legal. And it used to be done.
I know police, if you hire a police, yeah, that's the law.
Yeah, It used to be policy for the town of Little Tree.
I wonder, I don't know, I wonder when that changed.
I have no idea. I must have been back in Michael's days.
18 years ago,
How many?
18.
Did you have to have a physical before you came to work?
So did Brenda.
And since, so did Brenda, and then after that,
Yeah.
it went away. We were the last two.
Then put that back.
I think it needs to be being done.
Now,
I also think that we ought to do a background check on new employees. That was policy also. I don't think that's being done now, is it? You done any background checks on new employees?
these are one, to me, sounds like a bad idea. How about gonna be redone?
It was policy.
You need that as a motion in a second.
No. Let me change the policy and then you can just vote on the policy. I'm fine with that.
No, it's good. I have no complaints about that. No, I just think of the Jim Lloyds we can run off with. That you pull my string, I get to.
It's all right. I'll let you know.
All right,
Well, I have one more question.
Sure.
Whoever we hire, the training process,
Mhm.
is somebody,
You have to have, basically when you start, you have to have 500 hours of apprenticeship there. Basically, as far as the licensing goes, the licensing is based on general knowledge of all water and wastewater. Basically, here, you gotta learn how to do our plant, our water plant, and our sewer plant. Now, there's different types of plants all over the place. I mean, but it's not hard to pick up on. That's not the hard part. The hard part is getting licensed. Now, the license is for DEQ and VDH for you. You have to have somebody licensed to sign off on all the papers. So, we want to have as many licensed people as we can, obviously. But as far as training, they get on-site training here. Basically, and I'm really not trying to diminish their job at all, because it's not an easy job, but a lot of it's redundant. You check the same things every day, whether it's DO, which is the oxygen level in the digesters. It's the same thing day in and day out. But, obviously every once in a while there's a curveball and you have to do things. But as far as training, I think on-site training is they get what they need just on-site, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Are we documenting that training?
I mean, we have it through timesheets, how many hours they've got.
Okay, so the 500 hours that they're required,
Is it 500 hours or is it 6 months? I forget which one it was. It might be a time frame.
okay, and that's documented.
Through timesheets, we know how long they've been here, or date of hire.
But do we have someone who is qualified to supervise that training?
Yes.
yeah, do now. We almost didn't, but anyway. Michael was it.
Yeah, any licensed.
Lovegear
Lovegear.
has gotten his license.
Okay, good.
So in other words, we're in compliance with the DEQ, but we need more than one. So we have another employee down there, and he needs to be licensed, and if we get a new one, it's time. We have what the DEQ requires, but if he gets mad and quits, and there we are with our britches around our ankles, and so we've got to work on that.
The good news is, as long as Mike Whalen keeps his license, he can always sign off on our stuff. We could bring him in as an outside consultant, pay him an hourly rate, and he could be our licensed person. So we've always, well, not always, but we've got that backup plan of Mike Whalen, and we talked about this long before he ever retired, that he would be willing to come on as that licensed operator if we needed him. there's people in the state of Virginia that sign off on 4 or 5 different municipalities because they're licensed. So,
I mean, when I went to the, the water treatment plant, I mean, I did not realize all the work and.
it's very, very complicated.
True story, as far as that goes. Can't remember where I saw that. One county, I can't remember where it was. It's in the middle of nowhere. Not to be ugly, we're in the middle of nowhere. But anyway, they lost their licensed operator for whatever reason. I don't know why. So for like a day or a week or something, they had to do bullet notice. Because they couldn't run the plant.
Didn't have a licensed
Yeah,
operator.
they didn't have a licensed operator. I mean, it really drives home the point of, just like Jason's saying, it's really important.
Are we paying to keep Mike's license up to date?
We haven't yet. I mean,
But I think we should.
if he's gonna stay as a consultant, I don't see why we wouldn't pay for his license fee.
Just had to return his license into her, and she pay it, the occupational.
Through- It's
Yeah,
through,
I
it's
think we
through,
should be doing that.
Yeah.
it's through Deep.
And it wouldn't hurt every now and then to have Michael back to visit, pay him for his time, and visit to make sure that he sees what's going on and would sign. He needs to know that we're operating correctly before Michael's funny, he don't just throw a wooden sign something, but that,
No, he will not.
no, he's,
And another big reason why we need another operator, and even, Mike, is if we do develop Staley Spring, that's gonna be more on their plate. They're gonna have to do whatever they do at the water plant here, they're gonna have to do the same reports at Staley Spring as well, because it's 2 different facilities and 2 different water sources. Next thing, Mr. Mayor, I did meet with Hurt and Profit about Phase 12 of the town sidewalk project. We're gonna have a kickoff meeting on February 20th about the construction of the project. Unfortunately, this phase will have to go through the Department of Historical Resources because there would have to be some work done to the Masonic Lodge, and the Masonic Lodge is eligible to be put on the historical registry. That is not good news. Anytime you get the Historical Society,
anytime you get, and you could record it if you'd like to, idiots involved, it is gonna be a problem.
I'm gonna talk to him about the sidewalk in front of the barber shop. I think
Is that a historical thing?
of course it is. It's older than a Masonic
It's
barber.
it's a hysterical thing.
Yeah, we're referring to the barber shop.
I will tell you, if you want it to never get done, call them about it.
Yeah, that's all.
I understand.
Involved, exactly.
But just so you guys have an idea, and I don't know if I've updated all of you on it, but this phase is going to be from the new sidewalk here on Parsonage to meet with the sidewalk down on Bum Corner. So it's going
Down
to
by the wall.
it's going to go by the Masonic Lodge and Billy Shoemaker's all the way down to meet, so that those 2 sidewalk projects meet. It's going to replace the wall at the property right here beside Shoemaker's as well. I've already talked to that property owner. But in order for us to make it ADA compliant, the steps of the Masonic Lodge would have to be moved, and the door would have to be moved from, it's actually in the sidewalk now. In order for you to do an ADA compliant sidewalk, it would have to be moved into that alleyway where you turn and park there. And then again, we have to meet with the property owners as well. But we are gonna have a kickoff meeting for that on February the 20th. I think it's a Thursday.
I don't know what it is, but there's a need for it. Okay. Okay, you have anything else to report?
Last thing, the town has everything in line to start advertising the Kinder Valley water line on February 22nd. The town can accept bids and start construction on this line in the next few months. Basically, that's a loop from up here on Mountain View going around Kinder Valley up to Sage Road. Basically, all that's paid for through grant money. It's going to replace the old line going through Porter Sage's field up to.
It goes straight through.
Up to June
Jim Smith.
June Smith.
B.W. Smith.
We had some chlorination issues in that area because of the line. But this will take care of all of it and actually put everything in a loop. So we'll be advertising for
How
that.
big a line you gonna put there?
6.
6? What about that?
It's going to take care of the pressure problem and volume problem when we cut off on Parsonage. We have no, at the end of Parsonage, we have it because it's just going through the 1.5 line.
Okay.
And I forget, was there fire hydrants involved in it?
One fire hydrant, I think.
How did you get that through? Right.
Talked a lot of bull. We, actually, the Lane Group helped us with that a lot. They did a lot of studies and information.
Because that's a big line, I mean, that, I don't know how.
They gave us $500,000.
Mercy. I didn't know about that. That's what it is. Now, you're doing the town manager report there?
I just did.
You just did?
Yes,
That's
sir.
what I haven't.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No,
you, Mayor.
it's all right. We do that, no, that's great. Don't wanna go suddenly and skip over anything, so if you have anything you wanna add, or anybody have questions?
I have a question.
Certainly.
You brought up that stone wall next to Billy's over here.
Mhm.
Does that person that's there have a business license for that
Did they-
thing they're operating?
Mm.
Is that structure legal there?
Commercial neighborhood it is. It's gotta be, what was it, 5 feet off of it right away? We went and measured it.
I can't remember, it was way farther than that, yeah.
So it is off the right of way,
Mhm.
but they don't have a business license?
Not that I know of, unless they've gotten one and I don't know about it. I don't think so.
No, I'll have a talk with them.
And what's going on with the planning commission? Have you started to change that?
Yeah, we're good for now with the
Yeah.
amount of members that we
Yeah,
have.
but don't you have
But the
to
ordinance
change-
has to be changed, yes.
Yeah. Are you working on that?
I am.
And when are they gonna meet? You know, they did not meet last year.
I know.
They're required to meet annually at a minimum by code. And the comprehensive plan is required to be reviewed by them every 5 years. I've been on the planning commission, or was on the planning commission for a good long time, and I never saw the comprehensive plan. We need to get the planning commission geared up and doing some things.
I've got somebody wanting to do a conditional use permit that I was getting ready to advertise for anyway.
There are things the planning commission should be doing other than recommending conditional use permits. There are things that are outlined that the planning commission is responsible for. And I think that this council should be utilizing them to recommend things that are being done. Like this site plan maybe. Should the planning commission be involved in that? I don't think we're utilizing the planning commission to its fullest extent. That's all I have.
It's easy for you to say,
There you go.
that's easy for you to say, you quit.
But you're
Give him hell,
the,
Sean.
you're the liaison.
Thank all of them.
Yeah.
By the way, you guys are me. I do have a question for, I guess, Monica and Jason, or Jason. Did we ever hear back from Davenport?
Yes, they're gonna have us a preliminary report, next week? And then they're gonna make a presentation, what is it, the week of the 24th? So the week of the 24th this month, they're gonna make a presentation, so. I actually emailed them and said, what's going on, we haven't heard anything. And they actually wanted a copy of the PER for Staley Spring, but I don't have it digitally, and I can't scan all that, so I'll have to give them a visual of that as well, so. But yeah, we did reach out, I reached out to them.
Just, everybody knows what we're talking about. Yeah. Okay, I want to make sure.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking
Oh,
about.
I'm sorry. So basically, and y'all interrupt me if I'm wrong, but layman's terms, we wanted this consulting firm to look at our debt load,
Oh,
revenue, our, everything that we have as far as surplus, and go, hey, y'all should be comfortable with this, and you've got too much of this. Whatever. And I think they do that for a lot of localities.
Basically, we're jumping into a Staley Spring project, we got a downtown project. Me and Monica called them to try to get them to tell us how much operational cost we need to keep on hand, and then what we have investments in general fund above and beyond that, where we can use it for these projects, whether we need to go to rural development and get a loan for Staley Spring, how much we could pay on our own for Staley Spring to to reduce some of that, that debt, that we would owe rural development. Just kind of get an expert opinion on what we've got, and what we can do with what we've got, and what we would feel comfortable with. So, I don't know about Monica, I don't feel comfortable making that recommendation. I don't have the knowledge to make a,
I just thought of two more things, Your Honor.
your honor.
Honorary. He's not saying it right, you're honorary, that's.
Did you check with the judge to see if he said he was gonna make a decision or gonna make an opinion?
I haven't gotten in touch with the judge,
No?
no, but I can try to. Don't know that,
We will never hear anything.
Probably not.
We will, I wouldn't be afraid to take bets.
Yeah, you're probably right, Mayor.
And I don't need to be negative, but I don't know how much good. He operates basically above the law. He does not have any sense of propriety whatsoever. And if you'd like, you can tell him I said so. Although I'll be, have to watch about getting tickets, I may get wrong about
Well, that's circuit court, Judge. It'd have to be a big ticket.
Well, okay, well, good. But I'm stating an opinion here that's based on past experience. And if you wait, of course, we may want to wait.
well,
She might drive and blow away, and you won't worry about it anymore.
Chad said, I hope you don't mind me, Chad said that when he makes an opinion, if he writes an opinion, that is the decision on the case.
He works the court, and he told me that the judge never makes a decision on the spot, but he goes back and he reads about it and he studies it, and then he makes
He
his
told me.
decision, which is his opinion, but it is his decision, he said.
One other question. Are the bad people using the building?
They want to March 29th.
Okay. I'm done, Mayor.
Thank you.
Hurry up before he thinks it's something.
All right. Freezing rain, Monica. You may have the floor. When you get ready.
March the what?
29th. Let me make sure it's right. I don't want to tell you the wrong date.
I don't like that son of a bitch because he's been letting rulers.
Did you get that?
Easy now.
29th, yeah, it's March 29th.
Guess what I could have?
And they were absolutely delighted. They actually came in Miss Presgrave's van.
Yeah, they got the man.
Yeah, they left there and met me down there, and they were ecstatic about it.
They were happy with the man.
Okay. You can
Okay.
charge.
I wrote these checks. AZ Office Resource, $27.42. Alpha and Omega Repair, $1,904.14. Brightspeed, $913.64. C&D Truck and Safety Supply, $62.36. Centos, $583.52. Duke's Printing, $245. Ferguson, $1,410.67. Fisher Auto Parts, $218.63. Food Country, $89.15. Harpo's Hardware, $303.40. Joint Public Service Authority, $1,882.32. Lyle Pro Services, $1,819. Mission Communications, $2,891. Patrick Wheeler, $125. Rudolph and Delk Real Estate, $44.12. Roy Treat Auto Parts, $33.58. Roy Treat United Methodist Church, $100. Shintel, $747.19. Southwestern Equipment, $403.75. Southwest Virginia Media, $99. TextMyGov, $1,500. The Bank of Marion, $78. The Lane Group, $45,770.50. U.S. Cellular, $404.78. Virginia DPOR, $80. Miss Utility, $20.70. With Grayson Regional Library, $711. And that's a grand total of $62,467.87. Any questions?
Okay.
Did we do anything for the fire chief?
That's the Methodist Church.
Okay. Well, that wasn't a bad question, but I didn't understand the answer.
It was the contribution to the Retreat United Methodist Church, Mr. Evans,
Oh,
Davis,
okay.
and it's also Logrear's grandfather, so,
I can handle this, I'll speak bits. Yes.
I will say this.
You always pay.
I will say this while y'all are passing it around. I had no idea. I looked and I saw where he was the band director at Marion, and Ken Heath had put a picture of Marion's band years ago, and there was 100 people or more in that
Oh,
band.
yeah.
They haven't-
He's well thought of, or was well thought of. He was-
They played in Mexico and several world fairs.
I mean, she was telling me about it.
Okay. While we're passing around had to stay in session, while we're signing. Does anybody have anything they want? It's been we've got a lot covered, and I appreciate everybody's interest in what goes on. I really do. If not,
We're done,
you done?
we're done.
On the advice of C. Myers. Back to the adjourn.
See?
I thought we would check that.
I called him after years.
I thought we would check
oh,
that.
okay, let me save this, and let me get my recording. Let this
Yeah, stop